friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. For today's video, I am finally going to be able to sit down and write up my budget for March. It's taken a lot of work to get here. I had to do a ton of videos chronicling the process of like closing out my February budget, taking care of my sinking funds, which actually I think you guys are going to see the sinking funds video after this one, but I filmed it before, the magic of YouTube. There was also a spending comparison that I did. It was just a lot of work to get here, but I think I'm finally ready to do my March budget. So I have in front of me my budget planner, which is just a disc-bound happy planner system. And I have my budget printables for March, which I have printed and punched. I do have all of my March printables available in my Etsy shop, which I will link down below. Lots of different bundles, lots of different worksheets to choose from, all in this really pretty pattern, which I am calling my Meadow Melody collection. So be sure to check it out if you are interested. I do have a coupon code that'll get you 15% off of your order. So, you know, check it out. If you haven't yet set up your March budget, you're a little bit behind, no worries, I got you covered. So, I'm just gonna flip here to my calendar to get started. This is the dated calendar on 2 pages. And typically what I would do is go ahead and write in all of my bills. I'll show you what that looks like in February here. All of my bills, but I'm actually going to be doing things a little bit different this month in terms of tracking my spending on my calendar in addition to my expense tracker. I think, haven't really 100% decided yet, but I don't want to go ahead and write in all of my bills just in case I decide to do that. So the only thing we're going to do with this is we're going to put in my paydays, and I have these really pretty payday stickers from my friend Jennifer over at Life in Envelopes. I am a PR friend for Jennifer, so what I will do is I will link Life in Envelopes down below. She has amazing budgeting stickers as well as planning stickers. She also has an amazing YouTube channel. If you guys aren't following Jennifer over at Life in Envelopes, run over there and subscribe. She's got an amazing channel. I love watching all of her business budget videos and seeing how she runs her family on a pretty tight budget. So I'm going to use these payday stickers from her shop to put in my paydays. So March actually is one of those magic months with 5 paychecks. My husband gets paid every single Tuesday, and we have that magic 5th paycheck here. Also, I get paid every Tuesday from Etsy, as well as on the 21st of the month from YouTube. So I'm just going to stick one payday sticker on each of the Tuesdays, and that'll represent both my husband and my income. And then I'll throw the extra payday sticker on the 21st for YouTube. So, aren't these so pretty? I love the shades of green. Jennifer does an amazing job on her stickers. So we're just going to kind of go down the list and put all of these paydays in. So it's super easy to reference when we're getting paid, and then one more on the 21st for YouTube. So that's it for this spread. I will kind of go in and fill all of my transactions in. I don't know if I'll be doing that on camera or off camera, but I'll fill them in kind of as they happen. But that's it for my March calendar. I'm not going to do anything with my monthly overview. I like to sit down on the 1st of the month and write in all of my debt numbers, my goals for the month, my credit score, but I do that off camera. I keep that private. The monthly budget is where I keep track of my business budget. You guys will see kind of how the business budget goes at the end of the month. The way that I like to work with my small business, that's the income I earn from Etsy and YouTube, is I save it all up throughout the month, and then I kind of spend it all at once. So as my expenses come in for the month, I put those on a credit card. And then at the end of the month, I true everything up, and then whatever's left after I pay my business expenses and my taxes, that's my take-home pay. And that is what I add to our family budget. I use that money to help with sinking funds and paying off debt and that sort of thing. So nothing happening with this. I've got my sinking funds here. This is a little bit of a spoiler. You guys will see this video tomorrow, hopefully. And then we have where we're gonna get to work. This is my hybrid budget system. So it's a 2-page spread, and this is absolutely everything you need for the month at a glance. So there's a place here to track your income, a place to track everything that is a monthly expense, and then there's also a place to break it down by week. There's a place for savings, sinking funds, and debt payments. So it's a really easy, all-encompassing system to help you be able to write everything you need to see and be able to come back to this 2-page spread week after week to keep track of your budget. So I'm actually going to fold this in half, and what we're going to fill in today is the monthly section. So I'm going to break down my monthly budget for you guys, and then we're also going to set up week 1. I like to track my variable expenses by week, and I also like to have an overall monthly budget. So what I will put here is all of my bills and expenses for the month, and then my overall monthly budget for the variable expenses. And then I'm going to use this weekly section to kind of keep track of how much we spend each week to keep us on track to hit that monthly budget. So I'm not going to fill in the income section. You guys know by now we like to keep our income private. At least my husband's income we keep private. So we're just going to go ahead and start with this monthly section. And we're just going to start listing out bills kind of in order. First being our lot rent. So we own our mobile home, but we don't own the land. We are in a mobile home community. We rent the lot that our home sits on. And the amount that we pay each month is $553. I was looking back and going over my February budget, and I actually wrote $533 for both the budgeted and actual amount, and that's how much I wrote on my expense tracker. I don't know what I was thinking. It is not $533, it's $553. So corrected that for this month. Then we have water. And our water bill typically does not go over $50, so I always just budget $50 so that we are covered. By the way, I'm using a Parku erasable pen to write everything in. I love erasable pen because I tend to make a lot of mistakes, and I don't like to write in pencil. Alright, next up we have cable, and cable is another one that we pay on the first, we pay all of these together as one lump payment. But while the lot rent doesn't fluctuate and the cable doesn't fluctuate, the water bill fluctuates. So I like to break it down line by line just so that I can keep track of how much we're spending in water and how much we're spending overall. But all three of these things get paid right to our mobile home community. It's all just like one lump sum that we pay. So for cable, we're budgeting $70. Excuse me. In addition to cable, we have some streaming services. One of them is HBO Max, and we budget $16 a month for that. Next, we have my phone bill. This is Boost Mobile, so it is one of these pay-as-you-go services. There's no contract, and we pay for 4 lines, unlimited talk, text, and data. It's been $120, so it's a really great deal. If you haven't checked out Boost Mobile, give it a go. I'll link it down below for you guys to check out. Really, really affordable, no contract. The only issue is obviously you have to buy your own phone. You can't, actually I think they do have a system of making payments for your phone, and they have some phones available. We always buy our phones outright. We don't buy super duper expensive phones. We don't want to finance the phones. We like to just do it out of pocket. So Boost Mobile works phenomenal for us, and it's super affordable. Next, we have our camper payment. We do own a camper, and we pay $200 a month for that. Next, I have DTE, which is our electric bill. We are on a budget plan with them, so we pay the same amount every single month. And it just helps it so that it's not like sky high in the summer and then lower in the winter. Just kind of keeps it a nice even number that we can count on month after month. And it's high. We pay $193. It's just crazy to me that it's that high, but these mobile homes, they're super drafty. They are not insulated well. We have a ton of electronics plugged in all the time. All of our devices are hooked up through a smart home system, so we use a lot of electricity, I guess, but it just seems crazy to me that it's that high. Next we have Michigan Gas, and this is our gas company, and just like with DTE, we're on a budget plan with Michigan Gas as well, and that's $42 a month. Next we have my Subaru payment. So for our Subaru, we're paying $400 a month. Next up is Planet Fitness. This is my gym membership, which I'm hoping to start using more and more. Used it some in February, which is better than none, which is what I've been doing for the last year. But I want to use it even more in March and really get my $10 worth. So we'll see how that goes. Then we have WW, which is Weight Watchers. I just joined back up with Weight Watchers again, and I believe the amount that I'm going to pay this month is $10. I signed up for a deal where it was $10 a month for the first 3 months, I think, and then $22 for the subsequent 3 months, and it's a 6-month contract. So hopefully I can stick to it for 6 months and get some of this weight off. We'll see. Next up is Audible, which is my husband's audiobook subscription. He does 2 books a month, and it's right around $22 or $23 and change. So I budget $25. That way we are covered either way. And then next up is motorcycle insurance. So my husband does own a motorcycle. He keeps waffling about whether he wants to keep it or sell it because he hasn't ridden it in quite a while, but he's just holding on to it, I think, for nostalgia's sake more than anything. So for now, we're still paying bike insurance. It's, less than $25 a month for full coverage, so it's not like it's breaking the bank, but it's just sitting there collecting dust, essentially, because he doesn't really ride it anymore. We'll see what he decides to do. Maybe he'll put it up for sale come spring when people are looking for that sort of vehicle. Next is car insurance, and for that we are going to budget $180. So we're still kind of slugging our way through all of the bills. We have a lot of bills. Now we have our minimum payments on our credit cards. So we have Chase. So the minimum payment on this is $70. So this is the card we're currently working on, because if you missed my debt update, we paid off our city card in February, which is so exciting. So the minimum payment for Chase is $70. It's also going to be getting a debt snowball payment of $35. That was the minimum payment we were paying on city. I'm going to put that in under extra debt down here, but just know that we're actually going to be paying $105 to Chase every month, plus anything else that we can gather up to make an extra payment towards this card. Next we have Ashley, which is our furniture, and the amount that we pay each month is $156. We have First Merchants Bank, which is another credit card, and the minimum payment on this one, for such a high balance, it's a pretty low minimum payment, so we are not making much progress on this card at all. Can't wait until we are tackling this card. That'll be next after Chase, I think. So for First Merchants, we pay $58. And then we have Netflix, which I believe is the last of the bills. And that just went up, so the amount that we're going to budget for this is $16. Alright, so that's all of the bills and expenses. Now we're going to be talking about variable expenses, and this is where we have a lot of control over our budget. So for bills and everything, we just kind of pay what's due, right? There's not a lot of control we have over that, but when it comes to our variable expenses, we can kind of control how much we spend here. So first up is grocery. Now, I sat down and did a spending comparison of what I spent in January, what I spent in February, to kind of help me figure out what I wanted to spend in March. We are going to try to spend a little bit less in March. It's going to be really tough because the prices of groceries have gone sky high with inflation. But we're going to try. We'll see what happens. There are a total of 5 grocery trips in March. If we look back here at my calendar, we typically shop around Tuesday, and there are 5 Tuesdays in March. So I'm going to attempt to keep our budget as low as possible, and we're going to budget $800 for groceries. So if we break that down, 800 divided by 5, that's $160 a week. There was a time when I could budget $100 a week for groceries. Those days are obviously long gone. And then for a while there, I was budgeting $150, and we've been up over that even. So we're going to try $160 a week. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be tough. If I go way over, I'm not going to beat myself up. We're just going to kind of do the best we can. But if I set myself a sky-high budget, I'll definitely meet that budget, right? If I budget $1,000, I'm going to spend $1,000. But if I only budget $800, maybe I'll be able to hit that $800. And if we go a little bit over that, it's still less than $1,000. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Then we have eating out. And like I mentioned with that spending comparison, check that video out, by the way, if you missed it. That is a video here on my channel a couple videos back. I looked at our eating out for the last couple of months, and outside of some anomalies, we've been spending about $250 a month in eating out. So that's what I'm going to budget this month. In a perfect world, we would budget less and just eat out less, but I know us. We like to go out to eat at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. We like to go to nicer restaurants, so it just is what it is. That's what we're going to budget. We'll see how it goes. Next is household. And for household supplies, things like toilet paper, paper towels, that sort of thing, we've been spending about $150 a month, so that's what I'm going to go with for our budget this month. Next is gas. When I looked at my spending comparison, we've spent about $120 to $130 in gas the last couple of months, but I'm still going to budget the same $200 I've been budgeting because who knows what gas prices are going to do this month. I want to be prepared should gas prices skyrocket. I would much rather budget much higher than I think I'm going to use than budget lower and then go over budget. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll just kind of see how it plays out. After gas, we have spending. So the way that we do our spending is I get $40 in cash every week for spending. My husband gets $40, and my son Austin gets $20 for his allowance. So that's $100, right? 40 plus 40 plus 20 is 100. We said there were 5 weeks in March. We pay out our spending money on payday. So that 100 times 5 weeks, $500 for spending this week or this month. All right. Then we have miscellaneous. I like to just budget $100 for miscellaneous. Anything else that kind of comes up throughout the month that's not covered in one of these other categories. So we've done that. For unbudgeted, we're not going to budget anything, but I want a line item here just in case something comes up and it's above and beyond this $100 that we have set aside for miscellaneous. So we're going to budget 0, but I want that line there to put in my actual total at the end of the month. Hopefully it will be 0 as well, but we'll see. Then we have sinking funds. And for sinking funds this month, we did $1,700. So be on the lookout for that sinking funds video. I think tomorrow is when it's going to go up, if it's not already up. I don't really know my schedule for this week yet. But you can see how I broke this down and where I allocated those funds. Then we have savings. So for savings, we do a 50 envelope challenge. For savings, we're saving for my youngest son's car. He's only 14, but he'll be driving before we know it, and cars are expensive, so we're trying to save up as much as money as possible now so that we can buy him a car. We've been doing a 50 envelope challenge for that just to kind of make it fun. We pull 4 envelopes a month and we set that money aside. And of the envelopes I have left, I chose the 4 highest ones essentially and added those up to get our budget for savings, because we know we're not going to have to save more than that. I will draw the envelopes randomly at the end of the month to fill, but the most that we're going to have to save is $194, so that's what I'm going to budget. And then if it comes in that we don't choose the 4 highest envelopes, we'll budget less than, or we'll actually save less than that, but I want to be covered. So I just kind of wrote in the highest amount that we will have to save so that we're covered. Then we have extra debt down here. And for this, I'm just going to write in that $35. That's our debt snowball payment. That's the minimum payment from that city card that we paid off. We know for sure we're going to pay that to the Chase card, so that's why I'm writing it in here. I'm hopeful that it'll be a lot more than this, but we got to kind of see how all of our variable expenses shake out. You know, if we stay under budget in all these categories, we will be able to put more towards debt, but if we go way over budget or something, then we won't have that wiggle room to be able to do that. So I know for sure we're going to pay $35. When I write in the actual column at the end of the month, we're hopeful it'll be more than this, but that's what I'm writing in because that's what I'm budgeting. And how closely I stick to my budget overall will depend on whether or not we can pay more. And then the last category here, I have just enough to fill every single line, is rollover, which I'm going to leave blank for privacy reasons. So that is our monthly budget. That's a look at where all of our money is going to go, provided everything goes really well. I'm hopeful that it'll go well, but we will see. So the only other thing I'm going to do then is fill in week 1 and just get it set up to track our variable expenses. So what I've done the last 2 months is I have taken these monthly values that I budgeted and I've divided them out by how many weeks are in the month, and that is the budget I've set myself for each week, or for week 1 rather. And then depending on how much I actually spent, I would adjust the rest of the weeks based on kind of what was left. So the budgeted amount was sort of just like a target to hit, and if I went over that, it wasn't really a big deal. I just needed to be aware of it and kind of adjust moving forward. For this month, I'm going to try something a little bit different. For this month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all those variable categories and write them in, but for the budgeted amount, rather than dividing it out by 5 weeks and giving myself a weekly budget, I'm just going to write in our total monthly budget. And then when I write in the actual amount that we spent, I'll be able to subtract that from our overall budget, and that'll give me week 2. So it'll be more like a weekly check-in this way, just trying something new. I really like this hybrid budget because you can really customize it and do it any way you want. I just thought I would try something new this month to give you another idea of how you can use it. So I'm just going to write in our variable expenses. So we have grocery, eating out, household, gasoline, spending, miscellaneous, and then I'll go ahead and write in unbudgeted as well, so that if we have anything unbudgeted, I have a place to put it. So, like I said, last month what I would have done is taken that $800 a month, divided it by the fact that we have 5 weeks, and I would have budgeted $160. And then I would have come back at the end of the week, and if we spent $195, I would have put that in here, and then I would have adjusted our weekly budget for the following week with whatever was left divided by the 4 weeks we had left. This week, I'm just gonna try to simplify, and I'm just gonna write our full monthly budget in here. So for grocery, it was $800. For eating out, it was $250. For household, $150. Gas, $200. Spending, $500. Miscellaneous, $100. Unbudgeted, $0. So then when we come back at the end of the week, if we spent $200 on groceries, I will write that in here. And moving into week 2 then, for the budgeted amount, I'll write in the $600 we have left. But I still would like to get a feel for how much I can spend in each week if it were equal. So really quickly, I am going to go ahead and just divide these out by 5 and kind of get a feel for how much I want to spend each week. So I already know for groceries, I'm going to try to keep it around $160. For eating out, $250 divided by 5, that's $50. So we're going to try to keep our eating out right around $50. For household, $150 divided by 5, we're going to try to keep it at $30. And this is just for me. I'm not writing this in. It's just for me to know about what I can spend. For gas, $200 divided by 5, that's $40. That is about what we spend in a week, but we don't fill up every week. So we'll kind of see how this goes. For spending, I already know $100 each week, and then unbudgeted, obviously, nothing. So I have a good idea of what I need to stick to this week if I'm going to stay on track to meet my monthly goals, but I just wanted to set this weekly section up a little bit differently just to show you guys the different ways that you can use it. So if you want to see kind of how I set it up, and I talk you through really in depth my thought process last month, go back and check out my February budget setup, because I talked a lot about the weekly sections, but this is how we're going to try it out in March, and we'll see what I like best, and then we'll decide kind of moving forward what I'm going to do. So that's it then for my budget. The only other worksheets I have in here, let's see, let me zoom you guys out a smidge. I have expense trackers for each week of the month. I like to go in on a weekly basis and track my expenses. And then I have my spending comparison, which we'll do at the end of the month, and we'll compare February to March and see, you know, what changed. And then I have a notes page here. So anything that I need to write in, I have a place to do that. So yeah, really quickly, the last thing I'm going to do is just write in the dates for weeks 1 through 5. I like to do this just for myself, so I'm going to reference my calendar. Week 1 is going to be March 1st through 7th. I always do Tuesday as the first day of the week, since that's when we get paid. Week 2 is going to be March 8th through 14th. Week 3 is going to be March 15th through 21st. Week 4 will be March 22nd through 28th. And then week 5 will be just a touch shorter. It'll be March 29th through 31st. So we just got to get a few days through a few days with week 5. So yeah, that is it for my hybrid budget. I will have all of my budget printables linked down below. I'll just have a direct link to my Etsy shop. You can check out all of my printables there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I'd love to have you come back, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.